Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Harbor Spaces. Today I have the honor and privilege of sitting here with Keller Wieschowski. Keller I've known for a good 10 so years now, and I've had such an honor watching him develop into the man that he is today. In fact, he helped me this last summer run the Parker House kitchen, which was very impressive for you're 17, right?
Yep.
So, anybody who's worked in a kitchen knows it's tough, and breakfast cook is really, really tough. So the dude held it down. I'm just impressed with his skill set, who he is as a person, and I just want to welcome him to the podcast. So thanks for being here, brother.
I'm happy to be here. As you said, my name is Keller Wieschowski. I recently started a podcast called Modern Mindspaces. And life's been great. I've been kind of trying to move towards bringing in better ideas and mindsets. That's kind of the focus of Modern Mindspaces. I'm sure we could probably talk more about that later, but that's just a bit of a deeper introduction into myself.
Well, even before getting into the podcast that you have, just... this gentleman has spent a lot of time focusing on his potential for his future, and I think the podcast came along because you realize that a lot of people aren't really centering themselves and directing where they want to take themselves in life, and I think that's something that I've looked at in watching you. Just try to better yourself, become a better human, and put focus on what am I really doing here as a human, right? And then now Modern Mindspaces just came into your field, which is his awesome podcast, which you got to check out, and I'll ask him to expand on that a little bit more. But his ability to see what's happening in modern life and analyze it and digest it and implement it into his own life, and then give focus to other people, I think is huge. And especially, like I said, he's 17 years old. So I feel like people are coming online at a lot younger age. I mean, I'm 46 and I'm just getting into the same thing this 17-year-old is. So I mean, come on, he's doing great. So Keller, why did you start Modern Mindspaces? What's that all about?
So as I've grown up, I guess we can say, I've always wanted to post something, have kind of a positive digital footprint, because I don't think a lot of people really have that. And I've always kind of dreamed one day of running a business, and I've never really knew how to do that, but I always had the dream of wanting to do it, and I'd watch videos of people talking about it, and I'd research it and read about it, and I never knew, okay, what's the first step I can take, though? I always thought, I'll just wait till I turn 18 and then I'll probably figure out some way to do it, right? But then I just kind of thought about it some more, and I was like, I can start. In order to have a business, you need an audience, and you need people that are going to consistently come and buy your product. And I always thought, well, under 18, it's kind of hard to do that. But I realized people watching my podcast would be like people coming every day and buying my product. They're choosing to come and listen to the value that I have to give them. So I can start on this long-term dream of one day running a successful business, and I can start it by just simply uploading episodes of this podcast onto YouTube. And what I have always wanted to run a business on was helping people live better, more productive lives. And eventually down the road, I'd like to help people build businesses, because that's always something that I've learned lots about starting to do. And as I learn more about it with my journey through Modern Mindspaces, one day I want to be able to start teaching people how to do that themselves as well. So that's the long-term vision of it. But for now, it's just to help people build more productive lives.
And it's kind of what I was talking about. This guy's got long-term vision. It's I think in this modern mind space, everybody is sort of self-gratifying, quick, get to the point now type thing, and that's not it. The journey is the destiny, the destination, the real gem at the end, right? It's like, how am I getting there? And having that vision of like, where do I want to be? And then taking the steps now, not like, how is it going to happen? Well, what step can I take today? You know, and that's super, super cool of you to just like know where you want to be, know how you want to be financially set up, mentally set up, emotionally set up, you know, what your strongholds are. I think I'm very proud of you for, you know, having that drive in your life. I just feel like that's lacking in this algorithmic state of mind that we all just scroll through life and don't really pay attention to, like, oh, it would be nice to have this.
Right.
Well, how are you going to get there? So proud of you for that. How about Modern Mindspaces? What's the collaborative? What are you trying to do there as far as points of interest? How to get people to that, you know, to the state where you want to be?
So with that kind of a question, that's kind of something I'm still figuring out as I'm going. This is a new thing for
Perfect.
me. And as I upload each new episode, I get a little bit of a better idea of where and how I want to lead people towards this better way of thinking, I guess. And so right now, I'm just kind of going over different avenues of stress in people's lives and how we can redirect those away from being detrimental and helping them actually build something in your life. And I guess just as I make these first few episodes, it's going to help me kind of decide how I'm going to continue that momentum into the future when I run out of the obvious topics that I want to talk about. But it's kind of my own journey towards a more productive lifestyle. And by uploading it, I'm hoping to bring more people along that ride with me. And so I guess that's how I'm kind of leading people, as you're saying. It's I just want people to come along the ride with me, I guess.
Beautiful. I mean, that's the most authentic way to show life, right? So nobody knows how they're going to get to that goal. It's like, I see the goal, I want to be there, but we have to be authentic along the way and say, I don't know. And I'm very proud of you to like just be like, you know, I don't know what I'm talking about. I want you to see the process. And as I unfold and I get other minds seeing what I'm doing. See, I've always been like, you know, the more, you know, wherever our attention goes, energy flows, right? And so if we give that attention, that energy is going to go towards that goal. If we bring other people along with us, then their attention and energy goes on to that same thing that you're thinking about. So it's gonna speed it up, and it's also gonna like bring more topics, more awareness into where you want to go with life. So thank you for taking the first steps. I mean, that's like part of why I wanted to showcase this, guys, because you have to make authentic steps towards your goals all the way along the way. You don't need to figure it out to already be there, right? Like, how the hell are you going to figure it out if you don't make the step? So super proud of you for that. So some of the topics that you're focusing on right now are what?
So basically, on my first episode, I just brought up what I think are the three main stress factors in people's lives. Those being the government, social media, and money.
And what's the last one?
Money.
Money. Ooh, that's a big one.
And the thing about all of these things is that they aren't necessarily inherently bad, but the way that people have decided to build a relationship with them, that's what's bad, that's what's detrimental. Social media, people have became so addicted to it, and they post so much of their lives on it that it just completely consumes them, and it leads to not thinking or producing anything in your actual life, and you're just focusing on what you look like digitally. The government, everything about it, and I guess with the government, it's a lot about the news also. It's very blown out of proportion. It's often exaggerated. It's getting people to want to just keep consuming it. So it's a lot like social media as well. So, and then money, we have people don't know how to budget, they don't know how to save, they don't know how to invest, but they love consumerism. And So if you look at that, with all three of those things, we have a common one concept, which is overindulgence. And I think that that is probably the biggest issue with people's lives, with people's ability to control things in their own lives. Everybody wants control, but they don't know how to. And I think once you can start controlling your overindulgence, that's when you can start controlling other outputs of your life. So that's what I want the first 10 or so episodes of my podcast to be about, is covering those big stress factors. And then at the end, I want to start summarizing my idea, at least, of how we can best summarize all of that into controlling your indulgence.
I think, what I'm hearing here is like you're saying, what is your relationship to these things, right? And so just from my perspective, I'm hearing like you have a relationship with these things. The government, it's what we trust. It's what's holding us all together. Your money is how it flows and comes into your life and out of your life, and your social media aspect, who you are, what you look like online and what you look like in real human life is two different things. So it's just your relationship with all these things. So what can you say about maybe changing the perspective of your relationship on these things to fulfill your life in a better way? Is it to like watch the news all the time and just feed and just take that as a real thing? And I know that's not the answer, but I'm just saying, like, and with money, are you subject to the situation you were born into, or can you create a different relationship, with social media? So just wanted your perspective on that.
Right. The nice thing about these three stress factors that I'm starting my podcast off talking about is that all of them are changeable. Yes, you can put yourself in a better financial position, especially in America. It's pretty easy. I'm not going to say easy, but it's very possible to do so. It just comes down to self-control. Once you can control how much money you spend every week, once you can control how much money you save and invest every week, or not control, but once you can actively make the decision to start doing that, because that's the biggest gap with most people, is they keep waiting, they keep putting it off. A very common thing that a lot of finance gurus talk about is the best day to start investing was yesterday, but the next best day is today. You just have to make that decision. When you look at social media, it just comes down to controlling how much time you let yourself sit down somewhere and stare at your phone. Once you become mindful of that, it's a lot easier to stay away from it and a lot easier to stop yourself from overindulging. And with the government, it really comes down to controlling where you're getting your sources of information from, because mainstream media is so blown out of proportion. But once you can start coming into more local and more individual news feeds, it helps you stay away from that extremist idea that everything's going to end and it's all the other side's fault. So those three things are really easy to build healthier relationships with. You have to understand how.
From what I'm hearing is your awareness of it, like your awareness of like how it's affecting you, and really we can't change anything until we have an awareness that it is affecting us, right? So realizing what your relationship with money, with the news, with social media, what is that relationship? What is your awareness level of it, and how does it make you feel? And then changing that, and like I said, where your attention goes, your energy flows. And so if you're caught yourself doom scrolling, I've done it. I freaking hate myself afterwards. I'm like, what just happened for 15 minutes? Like, and I can't get that back. But then that awareness kicks in, and it's like, okay, the next time that I feel one of these going on, it's like, whoa, okay. All right, what else is happening? And then, so it's just the awareness in being able to change that relationship. So I'm, again, just really proud of you to like, of course, these are like the three topics you're picking right now. And like you said, when I run out of space for those, then they're going to move on to something else. And that's the authentic, natural way to build your own awareness of where you want to get to in life. So. So thank you for starting this podcast and for having the willingness and ambition to first of all, put yourself out there, and then to try to help people along the way. So how do you see your brand growing as far as, when you kind of run out of those topics, where do you project Modern Mindspaces maybe in the future?
Yeah. So like I said, it's just starting off as building better mindsets. And what I want to eventually build people towards, and what I want to more fine tune the podcast into eventually in the long term, is building the entrepreneurial mindset in people. Innovation, just creating new things, creating things that people want. And that is what I want to eventually lead people towards. And that's how I'm going to get to the long-term vision of what I want to do with my life, of helping other people build businesses. To do that, first, I need to have people who have that mindset of wanting to create something. And then it'll be a bit easier to work towards business. So I kind of want to just move from mindsets and just gradually over time to move towards a specific mindset, and then gradually over time, once again, building towards teaching people about business and teaching people how business is a great thing to study, and how it's not only connected to money, but by learning about business, it can help pretty much everything in your life. And it's pretty interesting, and something that I have learned about over time as I've spent more and more time reading and learning about it.
I could see you at some point being a business coach, helping people in that regard. The dude's already tried to sell me on setting up ATM machines, vending machines. He's trying to sell me on all kinds of businesses that he can do at a young age already. So it's just super proud of you for, having that entrepreneurship. Your father's that way. You've seen it in other aspects of your life. And so, it's just cool that you've adopted it. And what that really says to me is that you see that there is a bigger dream. And you said, you can have control over your finances and stuff. And, we live in a time right now where you don't have to clock into that 9 to 5. You can create from creation alone and create this business that you want, find that thing you love, find the thing that impacts life around you, that you can get paid for, and the world needs it. Right? Those are right. There's some Chinese saying that's that if you find those factors, then you are going in alignment with what you're here on the planet to do.
Right.
And so, super cool, man. I look forward to seeing where you take this. And where can people find you? Where is Modern Mindspaces at, and how can they link up with you?
Yeah, so I'm just uploading it on YouTube right now. The channel name is Modern Mindspaces, and it's going to probably stay on YouTube for a while until I can find a good enough reason to expand to other platforms. But pretty much everybody's on YouTube. Pretty much everybody knows how to use it, so you can find me there. I'll be uploading weekly. I'm trying for Saturdays right now, and I might expand on that later in the future as well. But yeah, I hope to see all of you there, and 100%, just you can get in contact with me personally through there too. If you'd like to talk to me about anything that I've talked about today, I'd be more than happy to. And yeah, pretty much that's all there is.
Awesome. I just wanted you to plug that in before we close out here, and just to get a little more personal about who Keller is. Keller, just how about what excites you right now? What you're about to graduate high school, you got your life ahead of you. You started this podcast. What excites you about graduating and moving into this next transition into your life?
Well, I'm excited to have that freedom of finally graduating. Basically, right around the time of graduating, I'm going to be turning 18, and the part of my brain that loves finance and loves money is very excited for that, because I'll be able to start investing and building financial independence. We all want it. None of us know how to get there, and a lot of us expect that it comes around the age of 65, but hopefully on my podcast I can teach a lot of people that that's not at all what you have to wait for. You don't have to just sit around and wait for it. You create it. And yeah, that's what really excites me, is just once I turn 18, so much more stuff opens up into my life. Once I graduate, the same thing. I'm excited to be able to start moving towards focusing more on things that I personally want to really learn about.
Awesome. One last final question. So, you look out into the world and you want to make an impact, right? You look like a very passionate, impactful person to me. So when you look on a global scale and you see what you think the world needs, what is that, and how do you think that you can help in that process?
So I think that there's a couple things that the world is really struggling with right now. A lot of them can be summed up to what I said earlier, and that's just overindulgence. The human brain doesn't know how to control its indulgence very well, and I think that's a huge issue, and it's an issue a lot of people know about, or at least they're aware of, but they aren't aware of it in a way that they actually know how to change anything about it. And it's just kind of this looming, depressing fact in the back of a lot of people's brains. And I'm hoping that as I learn more about it and as I learn how to better address it and control that factor in my life, I can bring that into this podcast, and I can bring that into any products that I build in the future. I've always wanted to write. I've always wanted to create things that people are able to use to improve their lives. That's always been very important to me. I guess the impact that I want in my life is just to be somebody that helps make other people's lives better.
Beautiful. And that's done by helping yourself first, and you've done a great job doing that. A lot of information here about how to, take control of your mind, take control of your space, where you want to be in life. And, I hope you take this podcast and show it to your younger people in your life and use this as an inspiration, because Keller's been an inspiration to me through just watching his passion, his growth, his mindset, his just wanting to be a better human. So show it to your younger generation, inspire them to make those steps towards authenticity before they even know what they actually want, because it is the destiny is the journey itself. That's like where all the magic happens. And I'm just excited to continue to watch you grow. And I'm excited for you guys to go check out Modern Mindspaces. It's going to be an awesome thing, because Keller won't settle for less than awesome. So appreciate you, man. Thanks for being here. Any last words?
Thanks for having me. No, like I said, please obviously check out my podcast. I'd love to have as many of you join my journey as possible. And that's about it for me. So thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here, bro. We'll see you again here on Harbor Spaces. Thank you.